Today we present you with 12 WWE superstar tattoos you never knew had a backstory. Number 12. Jeff Hardy wears his roots on his sleeve. As the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy certainly has a unique look when he competes, splashing his body in face paint and donning his full-length arm sleeves. For over 20 years now, Hardy has entertained fans across the world with his few massive tattoos being instantly recognizable to the WWE Universe. The most striking of his tattoos is the large root that stretches across the former WWE Champion's entire right arm. In an interview, Hardy explained how he got the ink to remind him of humanity's connection to the Earth, with our planet's ability to fuel trees through water being similar to the human body's ability to create life with blood. Not satisfied with just one tattoo, Hardy has a dragon on his left leg, though he has admitted that this was inked in secret as an act of rebellion against his and Matt's father. A talented artist, Hardy has even designed some of his own tattoos, which appear on his right hand, a difficult task when you realize that the charismatic enigma is right-handed and had to use his left hand to draw. Number 11. CM Punk takes the Pepsi plunge. When fans look at the iconic Pepsi logo of former WWE superstar CM Punk, they may at first glance believe that the straight-edge savior got the tattoo for his love of the refreshing drink. And while there's no denying that Punk is clearly a fan of the drink, the Pepsi tattoo is also a subtle message about his straight-edge lifestyle. One of his oldest tattoos, Punk got the famous Pepsi logo after seeing so many people get tattoos of their favorite beer companies, defiantly announcing his straight-edge belief that he would refuse alcohol in favor of the popular soda. This tattoo did lead to some issues, however, when he joined WWE, as licensing issues meant the logo was sometimes excluded from WWE games and figures, as the company did not want to pay a huge fee to Pepsi. The MMA star's love of the beverage even found its way into his moveset, with the Pepsi Plunge and Pepsi Twist being some of Punk's most iconic wrestling moves before he retired in 2014. Number 10. The hot-headed Bam Bigelow. While most superstars in this video have a deep meaning behind the ink, the same can't be said of the flames that rock the dome of Bam Bigelow. While there may not be some epic story behind them, the flames remain one of wrestling's most iconic tattoos, demonstrating the hot-headed temper of the beast from the East. Whether he was in the WWF, WCW, or ECW, Bam dominated his opponents in all promotions, even capturing the ECW World Championship in October 1997. Though some tattoos aren't as painful as many believe, the same can't be said for this one, as Bam admitted that he passed out due to the excruciating pain, though when he came to, he refused to take a break. Costing a whopping $4,500, this fact is made all the more impressive when you find out that Bam got it before making it as a wrestler, so who knows how he paid for it. Our guess is he told the tattoo artist what he wanted, and everybody was too afraid of the mountain of a man to say no. Number 9. Hornswoggle, part Muppet? As one of WWE's most colorful stars in recent years, it seemed at times that Hornswoggle wasn't even human, with his short stature only being exaggerated when he shared the rings with giants like the Great Khali. But underneath his green, white, and orange garb, his 4'4" frame has been covered in tattoos, celebrating Hornswoggle's love of the Muppets. Seemingly obsessed with Jim Henson's band of misfit marionettes, Hornswoggle got to meet his heroes in 2011, where he showed off his tattoos to Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy on Raw, though received a swift pork chop by Piggy when he leaned in for a kiss. This setback didn't stop the former Cruiserweight Champion's love for the group, as he's added Gonzo, Fozzie Bear, Statler, and Waldorf to his body since, and was even able to make a cameo in the 2014 film Muppets Most Wanted. Though it's not just his body that's adorned in Muppet art, as the petite performer also has a massive Muppet toy collection, which was featured on the WWE's Superstar Toys YouTube series. Number 8. The Rock, a true Peha warrior. If you've followed the career of the Brahma Bull, then you'll know that The Rock is very proud of his Samoan heritage. The son of Rocky Johnson and grandson of High Chief Peter Maivia, it's hard to truly understand The Rock's connection to his heritage without understanding the meaning behind his most personal and painful tattoo. Unlike common tattoos that use a needle, the Peha tattoos are constructed with pieces of bone, turtle shell, and wood and often take 3 people to apply. Traveling to Hawaii for the excruciating procedure, the shoulder tattoo took a total of 60 hours to complete, split into 3 20-hour sessions, and was designed entirely by freehand. As intricate as it is, the Great One has said the message of the tattoo itself is very simple, saying it's a representation of 3 things: family, protecting family, and being a warrior his enemies can't hold down. Number 7. The Undertaker has pride in his crew. When Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Sean Waltman formed the Clique, everyone in the locker room took note. Fearing that the group would be nothing but trouble if gone unchecked, The Undertaker formed his own group, though with significantly smaller stars, including Paul Bearer, Yokozuna, Savio Vega, Rikishi, Bryan Adams, and the Godwins. Committed to the group, who call themselves the Bone Street Crew, the dead man had a massive tattoo saying BSK Pride etched across his abdomen. While the team were never explicitly mentioned on WWE TV, the Phenom often represented the group, exposing the ink whenever he pulled the straps down, symbolizing that the end was near for his opponent. Sadly, the tattoo has also become a tribute to those of the crew who have since passed, and was actually a response to Savio Vega getting the first BSK tat, although a much smaller one. Clearly, the dead man wanted to make sure that no one could deny his pride in the group. Number 6. Lita is a punk. With her red hair, alternative image, and risk-taking offense, Lita was unlike any other woman on the roster during the Attitude Era. And while there have been other tattooed women in WWE, none compare to Lita in terms of ability or championship success. Setting herself apart from the blonde bimbo archetype of the early 2000s, Lita sported a large demon tattoo on her right arm, with an assortment of skulls on her left. What's far more interesting though is the tattoo that fans never got to see, which is hidden away on the inside of her lips, which reads Punk. Despite what some fans may believe, this has nothing to do with CM Punk, who Lita used to date, but was inked on years earlier when she was living with a musician in a house that often hosted punk bands. During a performance by Railhead, the young Lita allowed her roommate to commemorate this chapter of their lives with some ink, saying the process didn't hurt at all, perhaps due to how fast it happened. Number 5. Santino the Barbarian. When you look at WWE's goofball Santino Marella with Conan, it's clear the former US champion has a lot more in common with the ginger-haired talk show host than the muscle-bound fictional character. But despite this, Marella is a huge fan of the Barbarian, even having the comic book star tattooed on his chest. Wanting to add to this ink, Marella also has a lion, dragon, and winged beast across his body, perhaps for the Barbarian to battle. An icon of pop culture, it's clear that Santino is a huge fanatic of Conan and is able to connect with the Barbarian, who also often mixed strength and dominance with humor. Explaining the tattoo to WWE.com, Santino showed his comedic chops, equating Conan's rise from peasant villager to king to his own success in WWE, appearing in the crowd in 2007 and winning the Intercontinental Championship on his first night. At least now, the Italian sensation has a connection to a Barbarian who crushed his enemies, compared to the WWE's Barbarian, who was more of a cuddly teddy bear. Number 4. Wade Barrett inks up for his favorite band. It doesn't matter if you won Season 1 of NXT and are a multiple-time champion, when your favorite band contacts you, you are bound to geek out. This was the case with Wade Barrett, who despite massive success in the States, remained loyal to his British roots, who sported a bouquet of red roses, the official flower of his home country of Lancashire. Surrounding the rose are the words boredom, culture, alienation, and despair, which may seem like the usual cries of an angsty teen, but any UK indie rock fan worth their salt will recognize them as the lyrics to Little Baby Nothing by Manic Street Preachers. Although MSP never really made it big in the US, they were massively popular in England, where both Barrett and the band hail from. In fact, Barrett was even contacted by guitarist James Dean Bradfield, who offered the superstar his services for the former WWE star's next theme, to which Barrett could only respond that his mind was blown in a tweet. Number 3. Seth Rollins, Samurai Warrior or Tom Cruise fan. When Seth Rollins entered a tattoo shop for his first piece of ink, he had 2 things in mind: getting something that represented his life philosophies as well as his favorite movies. Any Japanophiles will instantly recognize the architect's back tattoo as the 7 traits of Bushido: integrity, respect, courage, honor, compassion, honesty, and loyalty. While many may assume that the architect found the message while traveling the world, honing his craft, the truth is not as glamorous. Instead, Rollins found the message while watching The Last Samurai, which stars Tom Cruise as Army Captain Nathan Algren, who finds inner peace in the ways of the samurai. Rollins has even said he relates to Algren, despite Rollins' risk-taking offense and consistent mind games leaving him far from relaxed. Certain tenets of the Bushido even include the 8th virtue of self-control, though with tattoos often going into hundreds or even thousands of dollars, it's obvious why some tattoo fanatics don't celebrate this virtue. Number 2. Justice for Jericho. With Chris Jericho taking as many sabbaticals from WWE, it's no secret that when not in the ring, Y2J can often be found on stage rocking out with his heavy metal band Fozzy. A huge fan of the genre, the band's first album was almost an entire tribute to classic metal, with the band later deciding to write more original songs. More than merely cover Iron Maiden's classic The Prisoner, Jericho has gone the next step, getting the band's iconic mascot Eddie on his wrist. His other wrist is equally metal, sporting a copy of Metallica's And Justice for All cover with a blindfolded Statue of Liberty following the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla in his life. Though many have considered Jericho getting these tattoos in his 40s as a clear midlife crisis, it's just as believable that the metal-mad superstar always wanted the ink and sees now as an appropriate time to get them. Number 1. Brock Lesnar's drunken sword fight. We've all heard the story. A guy quits his job, his life spirals out of control, this dude gets wasted and wakes up with a tattoo he doesn't remember getting. It doesn't matter how big or bad you are, this can happen to anyone, man or woman, and even a beast. To Lesnar's credit, he at least remembers getting the huge sword on his front inked, though he admitted he was very drunk at the time. The Beast incarnate has also stated that the sword itself is a metaphor for the pressure he felt at the time, as WWE were blocking his attempts to wrestle for New Japan, pressure that didn't mix well with Lesnar's substance abuse problems. Eventually joining New Japan, Lesnar would clean himself up before joining UFC, whom he left to return to WWE in 2012, now sporting his iconic sword, which no doubt strikes fear into his opponents.